Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Looming Maestro. I am your host Vedant Chavla and we are going to learn nutrition in plants. I will try my best to explain this topic in a very easy language. So without wasting any of our time, let's start with the session. Before starting with the topic, let's learn a basic fact. We all consume food to get energy, and this energy is used to do all the day-to-day activities. The same way, car consumes fuel to get energy and so it is able to run. What is nutrients? Food is essential for all living organisms. We have learned that carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals are components of food. These components of food are called nutrients. Nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. Stomata. When a leaf is examined under the microscope, we observe many tiny pores which are collectively called stomata. Stomata are the minute openings generally found in the epidermis of leaves. Stomata play an important role by permitting the movement of gases such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor to diffuse between the interior and the outer surface of the plant tissues. So basically, stomata are the minute openings which can be only examined under the microscope. These minute openings helps in the exchange of gases and release the excessive water. Guard cell. Essentially, guard cells are two bean-shaped cells that surround the stoma. As epidermal cells, they play an important role in gaseous exchange in and out of plant leaves by regulating the opening and closing of pores known as stoma. So basically, guard cells surround the stomata and helps in opening and closing of stomata. These guard cells are two bean-like structures. Mode of nutrition in plants. The first mode of nutrition is autotrophic mode of nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make food themselves from simple substances is called autotrophic nutrition. Auto is equal to self and troph is equal to nourishment. Plants make their own food, therefore they are called autotrophs. Plants are known as autotrophs because they are able to make food from some simple substances and do not depend upon any organism. So they are known as autotrophs. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition is a type of nutrition in which organisms depend upon other organisms for food to survive. Animals and most other organisms take in food prepared by plants. They are called heterotrophs. Hetero is equal to other and troph is equal to nutrition. So basically, heterotrophic mode of nutrition is a type of nutrition in which animals and humans like us depend upon plants and eat the food prepared by them. So we are known as heterotrophs. Cells. We have seen that buildings are made up of bricks. The bodies of living organisms are made up of tiny units called cells. Cells can be seen only under microscope. Some organisms are made up of only one cell. They are called unicellular organisms. Examples: amoeba and paramecium. So basically, when we take an example, the building is made up of bricks. The same way, cells are the building blocks of our body. Parts of a cell. The bodies of living organisms are made up of tiny units called cells. The cell is enclosed by a thin outer boundary called the cell membrane. Most cells have a distant centrally located spherical structure called the nucleus. The nucleus is surrounded by a jelly-like substance called the cytoplasm. So basically, there is a spherical structure at the center of the cell known as the nucleus, the surrounding jelly-like structure known as the cytoplasm, and the thin outer boundary known as the cell membrane. Photosynthesis. The leaves have a green pigment called chlorophyll. It helps the leaves to capture the energy of the sunlight. This energy is used to prepare food from carbon dioxide and water. Since this preparation of food occurs in the presence of sunlight, it is called photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means to combine. So basically, photosynthesis is a process in which there is a green pigment called the chlorophyll which helps in the process of photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, the plant absorbs the sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and minerals. It is known as photosynthesis because this process is done in the presence of sunlight. Parasitic mode of nutrition. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot prepare food like humans and animals. Such plants depend on the food produced by other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Example, Cuscuta does not have the chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. Cuscuta is called the parasitic and the plant on which it climbs is called the host. So it's a surprising fact that there is a plant known as the Cuscuta which does not have chlorophyll. It climbs on other plants and absorbs the minerals produced by them. The Cuscuta climbs on the plant. The plant that it on climbs is known as the host, and the Cuscuta is called the parasite. Insectivorous plants. There are few plants which can trap insects and digest them. Oh my god, it's so scary. These plants may be of green or some other color. The apex of the leaf from a lid which can open and close the mouth of the pitcher. Inside the pitcher there are the hairs which are directed downwards. When an insect lands in the pitcher, the lid closes and the trapped insect gets entangled into the hair. The lid closes and the insect is trapped. The insect is digested by the digestive juices secreted in the pitcher and its nutrients are absorbed. Such insect eating plants are called insectivorous plants. Saprotrophic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients from dead and decaying matter is called saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Examples, fungi and mushroom. Symbiosis. Some organisms live together and share both shelter and nutrients. This relationship is called symbiosis. Example, certain fungi live inside the roots of plants. The plants provides nutrients to the fungus and in return the fungus provides water and certain nutrients. Replenishment of nutrients in soil. We all know that plants absorb minerals and nutrients from the soil, so their amounts in the soil keep on declining. Fertilizers and manures contain nutrients which contain nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. These nutrients need to be added from time to time to enrich the soil. We can grow plants and keep them healthy if we can fulfill the nutrient requirement of plants. So basically, farmers add artificial manures which contain nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, which are essential for the growth of the plant. If we are able to fulfill the nutrient requirement of plants, the plants can grow healthily. Replenishment of nitrogen in soil. Usually, crop plants absorb a lot of nitrogen and the soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. Through nitrogen gas available in plenty in the air, plants cannot absorb it in the manner they can use carbon dioxide. They need nitrogen in a soluble form. The bacterium Rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a usable form, but Rhizobium cannot make its own food, so it often lives in the roots of gram, peas, and mung and provides them with nitrogen. In return, the plants provide food and shelter to the bacteria. So basically, there is a bacterium called the Rhizobium. The plants cannot absorb the nitrogen in the air. The nitrogen is available in plenty of form in the air, but they cannot absorb it. So they need it in a soluble form. Rhizobium does this jobs, and so it is helps in the replenishment of nitrogen in the soil. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe and share. Also give it a big thumbs up. Thank you.